Good evening, I'm Professor 219. I teach an online class on how to survive in today's messed up America as a conservative. You do not need to know my real name. We have a lot of ground to cover. Let's get started. First, I'd like to address Kamala Harris again and her silliness. She's claiming that people who live out in the country don't have access to photocopiers. Well, I'm a country boy. I live in a very small town. You may hear loud truck noises over my videos sometimes. I happen to live close to the main intersection in town. So I prefer to make my videos late at night to avoid any loud truck noises. You're welcome. I also have a printer/scanner that I ordered from Amazon about 3 years ago for $60. And you can scan a document and then print your scan, and voila, there's your photocopy. I bought my first laser printer in 1985, I think. I bought my first hard drive in 1984. Please. Kamala, us country folk are a lot more high-tech than you think. Seriously, okay, I've got high-speed internet, I've got cable TV. You know, these newfangled satellite dishes sure are wonderful. And I've got a car, I've got a house, I don't live in a log cabin. I tell you, man, these people are just grasping for excuses to oppose voter ID. The real reason they oppose voter ID is because they want voter fraud. Black people know how to get a voter ID. It's not like they don't have access to photocopiers. It's not like they don't have access to the Driver's License Bureau. Please. Come on, give it up. And next, I'd like to talk about the renewed claims by Donald Trump that the election was stolen last November. I've had a lot of conservative friends claiming 100% certain that the election was stolen. And my position on this is I don't think we will ever know in our lifetimes. Much like the assassination of John F. Kennedy, there's still a lot of mystery involved. It's going to take somebody who participated in the theft of that election on his deathbed, unburdening his soul, for us to know the truth. Because in all these big cities, and in all the Democrat-controlled states, they're using Dominion software and Dominion voting machines. Several years ago, Dominion bought out a competitor called Sequoia. And a few years before that, Sequoia bought out Smartmatic. Now, maybe you've heard of Smartmatic. Smartmatic was founded around 2005 by 3 Venezuelan software engineers, basically code writers. And one of their first victories, one of their first, trophies, was flipping the recall election for Hugo Chavez. Widespread suspicion of fraud throughout the world. Okay, there were several indications that Hugo Chavez should have been thrown out of office by that recall election, but somehow he won. Somehow Joe Biden won despite not campaigning, despite Donald Trump getting 12 million more votes than he did in 2016, despite gaining 12 Republican seats in the House, despite flipping both chambers of the New Hampshire state legislature from Democrat-controlled to Republican-controlled, all the indications are that this was a red wave election. Okay, Cook Political Reports, one of the most accurate predictors of House and Senate races. In 2020, they listed 27 House races as toss-ups, meaning that this is basically a statistical tie. Either candidate could win. Republicans won all of those races. The odds against flipping a coin that many times and having them all come up heads are roughly 120 million to 1. This was a red wave election, and somehow an incumbent Republican president lost by a significant margin in the popular vote, but by less than 1% in the flip states, the swing states, that Biden needed to win. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona. If 3 of those 5 states had gone for Trump, Trump would have been reelected. Anyway, the practice of one company buying another company and then that company gets bought by another company, that's known as laundering assets. When the first company that gets bought has a bad name or a bad reputation, its assets get bought by another company, and then that company sells those assets or gets bought out entirely by another company, as Dominion did to Sequoia, which did it to Smartmatic. Nobody on the left sees anything fishy about this at all. And of course, everybody on the left is claiming that we had the most secure election in history. When in December 2019, Ron Wyden, Elizabeth Warren, and Amy Klobuchar were all joining forces and writing letters to the hedge fund that owns Dominion, expressing their concerns about insecure voting machines, insecure tabulation machines, and insecure software. If you can get your hands on a demo copy of the Dominion voting software and the Dominion tabulation software, you will notice that you can drag and drop a stack of votes into a folder on your desktop and then delete the folder, and no internal record is made of this operation. You can flip a stack of votes from the opposition candidate to your own candidate, and again, no internal record is made of this operation. Now, McAfee software is used to protect against viruses and malware and so forth, and will let you know if somebody's trying to hack you. Okay. McAfee software creates an external record of every keystroke. So the Democrats in these big cities like Milwaukee and Detroit and Philadelphia, Atlanta, Phoenix, they removed the McAfee software and replaced it with Symantec software, which is just as good in terms of protecting you against malware and viruses, but it does not create an external record. So you've got Dominion software. This creates no internal record of flipping votes, and you've got Symantec software that creates no external record. Now, if I wanted to rob liquor stores, I would go around to all the liquor stores that I wanted to rob and disable the security cameras, wouldn't I? Wouldn't that be the smart thing to do? As a matter of fact, if I disable security cameras in the liquor store and I buy a gun, the cops are going to be knocking on my door. Why is all this hanky-panky with the software not raising any red flags? Next, I'd like to talk about The House committee that's going to be investigating the January 6th riot, I refuse to call it an insurrection, even though all the mainstream media are calling it an armed insurrection. Okay? This is the year 2021. Check your calendar. It's not 1315. In order to have a successful insurrection, you need guns. You need lots of guns. If it had been a real insurrection, Capitol Hill would have looked like a forest of AR-15s and AK-47s. You can't have a successful insurrection if you're armed with flagpoles and baseball bats and bear spray. It's just not possible. Another thing, Republicans are supposed to be gun nuts. Okay, we're supposed to be carrying around our AR-15s wherever we go, Walmart, okay, because we can't go anywhere without our guns. But somehow we showed up for an insurrection and forgot all our guns. All of us. Every last one of us. All 25,000 of us. What's wrong with this picture? This is basically the Democrats' last best chance to prevent the House from flipping to Republican control in 2022. They keep January 6th in the news cycle, and their friends in the propaganda bureaus that used to be called news media are more than happy to help out. They want to keep January 6th in the news cycle until November 2022. And this committee is going to enable them to do it. They're blowing it with this disaster on the border. Inflation is back with a vengeance. We're not creating jobs fast enough. Isn't it strange how they shut down businesses and then allow them to reopen, and voila, they've created jobs? Isn't that interesting? Anybody with a brain is not going to take this committee seriously. Just like they shouldn't have taken either one of the impeachments of Donald Trump seriously. All of this is political theater. And the mainstream media just eat it up. What a country we live in. Excuse me. Isn't it strange how all these things that were conspiracy theories last October, as recently as last October, are now accepted as plausible theories or even facts? Here's a sampling, okay? October 2020. The coronavirus occurred naturally. Anybody who suggests any other possible origin of the coronavirus is a conspiracy theorist. 2021. Dr. Anthony Fauci says that he supports an investigation into the origins of the coronavirus and that it might have come from the Wuhan lab. More on that next time. 2020. October 2020. Hunter's laptop is Russian disinformation. Anybody who claims otherwise is a conspiracy theorist. We're even going to have our friends at Facebook and Twitter block access to the New York Post. Block links and shared articles from the New York Post. Because the New York Post is actually serious about investigating Hunter Biden's laptop, which is Russian disinformation, okay? Anybody who claims otherwise is a conspiracy theorist. December 2020. Oh gosh. Hunter's laptop looks like it belongs to Hunter after all. And the FBI is investigating Hunter Biden for tax evasion. Why didn't we know this before the election? Here's another example. Okay? Russia paid the Taliban bounties on U.S. troops in Afghanistan. And Trump let him get away with it. And anybody who suggests otherwise is a conspiracy theorist. December 2020. Well, it turns out that the intelligence sourcing on that was bad, and it's likely no such bounties existed. Isn't it convenient how we find out the truth about all these things after the election? 2020. Trump ordered the police to tear gas peaceful protesters so that he could have a photo op in front of a church with a Bible in his hand. And anybody who suggests otherwise is a conspiracy theorist. March 2021. The Inspector General, appointed by Barack Obama, Michael Horowitz, he says that no tear gas was used, and nobody at the White House gave that order. It was the Capitol Police, for completely unrelated reasons. It's funny how the truth finally comes out after the election, but the smear stays in effect until Election Day. That's all I have for tonight, except to say apologize to your local conspiracy theorist because everything he said has turned out to be true. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube and share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, Telegram, BitChute, Rumble, wherever you want. And please subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment or two below if you'd like. Have a good evening.